What's up? It's Jill Monroe. Tonight we are going to get into the details about Roc-A-Fella Records, Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z's first album. And we know Dame Dash was in some legal situations where his one-third ownership was up for grabs. We're going to get into the details of that. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Ray J. He kind of crashed out on Twitter, was flashing on Pastor Jamal Bryant. Well, we know a little bit about what is happening with that. So we're going to hear some of that interview and talk about that. We're also going to talk about the new allegations that the feds are throwing at your man P. Diddy in jail. So, there is a lot to get into. Now, first up, I want to talk about the Roc-A-Fella Records auction because it's not often that a classic album is up for grabs as far as ownership. So the state of New York is now one-third owner of Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z's first album. It was placed in an auction. Dame Dash has about $8.7 million worth of debt to the state of New York. He is like number 23, 27 on the list of most notorious tax owers in the state of New York. So this thing has been going crazy. It's really bizarre. So he owns 33 and a third in Roc-A-Fella Records. And basically, New York is planning to resell his shares to cover Dame's debt. They bought it for $1 million. There were two other competing bids, one for $250,000, another for $223,000. We don't know who those individuals are, but obviously they lost out to the feds. Back in, I think it was August, Jay-Z allegedly had put out a release or a rumor or word that he would sue for copyright infringement anyone that bought it. He allegedly offered Dame some money for it, but Dame felt that it wasn't enough. The legacy was priceless or something to that nature, and he would not accept whatever Jay-Z's offer was because it wasn't the amount that he saw fit for it. So, they're saying that this is only the beginning of the state's efforts to settle Dame Dash. So basically, what will happen is that they will sell, the $1 billion. $1 billion, excuse me. They will try and flip their $1 million bid, right? And get someone to buy it and pay back his child support, his taxes, and he has, I think, well, not I think, he has $193,000 in unpaid child support that he owes. He also, like I said, owns a lot of tax debt, and he has lawsuits. So, you know, ownership is everything, but if you're not getting returns on that ownership, what is it really worth, right? So we will have to see what happens. I'm sure Jay-Z is secretly, not so secretly, in some instance, using his wares to get his hands on it because it's his first album. So we will have to see what develops. I think Dame, well, not I think, Dame is being petty, right? Well, he was. I mean, $1 million doesn't even begin to cover his debts. I just, we can talk about that at some other time about Dame and what I feel, what he helped establish as far as hip hop. We can question some of his methods, but what he did is undeniable. But at this point, it's time to move on, I feel. We'll have to see. So let's get into what's going on with Diddy. Something is always happening. Prosecutors, the feds, the DA, they're coming for Diddy, right? Like he owes them publishing rights or something. But so there are more allegations of tampering, secret phone calls, what is happening behind the walls of the Manhattan jail that he is currently housed in. They're even accusing him of using his children for sympathy to taint the jury pool via social media. So let's get into the receipts, right? So prosecutors are alleging that Diddy is attempting to contact witnesses and influence the jury while in jail. The accusations include using different inmates to make unauthorized phone calls. They're alleging he did that up to 8 times. You are told when you make these calls that it is only for the use of the individual inmate, and it's technically a crime. But if you listen to DJ Academics, he said that allegedly there are, well, no, I'm sorry, it's not DJ Academics. I heard about this via DJ Academics. There is a reporter that spoke to someone that allegedly was in jail with Diddy on the same floor, and she disguised his voice. He was anonymous because he said he didn't want anything to happen, but he claims that prisoners are fighting over the privilege to make Diddy's bed. So I'm sure that extends to using his phone thing. He said that Diddy is trying to keep the vibes up in jail. People are trying to, get close and get in position because obviously they think that, one, if Diddy gets out and he still has money, he's going to take care of him. And two, if he's in there and he has money, he's going to take care of him. So he is utilizing those people allegedly to get into their phone privileges. Now, what they're saying is happening also is that he is using his children to sway the jury by posting family-friendly photos. We know that Christian posted that he would be taking over Bad Boy. He'd be taking over Diddy's account. He's continuing the Bad Boy legacy, although right now I will put a pause on that. But, I don't really know at this point, does Christian have an identity outside of his father and Bad Boy? King Combs, all of his music was samples of old Bad Boy and 90s stuff. So we'll have to see what develops with that. Let's get back into what else they're accusing him of. They also said that on these calls, there was discussions about media campaigns and jury manipulation, right? They are arguing that his wealth and resources make him a flight risk. As we know, Diddy is trying to get bail for a third time. Obviously, with all of this, they're going to deny him and make, or at least an attempt to make an example out of him. They're also alleging that he extended paying associates, including Kalina Harper, they used to be in Dirty Money with him, to speak on his behalf. So these are things that we heard initially in the initial indictment, and they're saying that they're continuing in his phone conversations from jail, which we know are all monitored. So, Diddy's in a lot of hot water, which we already knew, but it seems like he continues to dig himself a deeper hole. But back to this guy who allegedly was in jail with Diddy. He says that Diddy is always trying to keep the vibes high. He's very positive. He's in good spirits. He, if he walks by and he sees a prisoner is down or not having a good day, he tells them to smile, that they have nothing to be unhappy about and things of that nature. He's a positive force around the unit. So, and he is in a protected unit. He's not in general population. He is in with others that are in there because of special crimes. The gentleman said that it is a dormitory, like when you first, I guess, enter jail before you are assigned to your unit, ward, whatever they are called, and you get a room and a roommate. So it's about 20 people in this room, and that's where Diddy is. He says that he is eating well as he can in jail. Commissary on fleek. Do we say on fleek anymore? I don't think so. But anyway, so yeah, but allegations are pretty severe. One could argue that on the phone conversations, talking to their dad on his birthday and wanting to post that is not necessarily criminal activity, but the other accusations probably are. So we'll have to see what develops with that. Now, were you among the 25 million, was it, that watched it? No, it actually is 60 million that watched live Mike Tyson and Jake Paul Saturday night. Friday night. Tonight's Saturday night. So we know that they were facing off at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Tyson lost. He posted on X today, even though everybody's leaving X, that he nearly died in June and he lost several pints of blood. He said he required 8 transfusions. He lost 25 pounds and was hospitalized. So he was happy that he was able to fulfill his obligation and survive and return to the ring. Let's not forget that they both got $20 million paydays. I think anyone that thought that they were going to see a real fight was kidding themselves. Jake Paul's entire brand is based on him winning. He has a promotions company. It's generating millions and millions of dollars. So there's no way that he was going to lose. Now, Jake Paul has knocked down every one of his opponents. He didn't with Tyson. I'm sure that was some sort of agreement. I just think that neither one of them was really going hard. Jake said that he admitted that he wasn't going as hard as he could on Tyson in the later rounds because he didn't want to see him get hurt. You know, he's someone he idolized. I think people forget that Jake and Tyson actually have a close relationship that started before this, when Jake first started boxing. So you know, it was a payday. Can't be mad. Mike Tyson is 58 years old. He went 8 rounds. You could see the moment though when it was all in his face and he was like, why the hell am I doing all of this? So you know, shout out to Iron Mike. Just think, a few years back, he was in debt for like 23 million. He made 20 million in a night, and he can go off and do his podcast and his cannabis line and all of the things that he has going on. So shout out to Tyson. We'll see who Jake fights next. Gervonta Davis said that he would step up and that Jake Paul is bogus. Jake Paul responded, let's do it. Let's line it up. And he basically asked, was there a boxing height requirement? Because Jake Paul's 6'1", Gervonta is 5'5". So I don't know. We'll see if that one comes out, because everyone that Jake has fought has been older. I feel like 40 and up and retired. You know, not saying that he's not taking it seriously, I suppose, and doing his thing, but it's not like he's fighting people in his prime. He's still trying to line up Conor McGregor, but they can't agree to the fight class and whatever else. So we will see what goes down with that. Let's get into Ray J for a minute. So Brandy's brother seems to be crashing out all over social media. Hello, is it TKP704? Thanks for checking in. How are you tonight? And also, if you guys have any comments on what we're talking about, or you got a question, or you have something you want to add, feel free to drop it in the chat. So Ray J, and I'm going to show the video here in a minute, he has been going through a lot these past couple of months. We saw on Halloween, he almost got into a fight with Diddy's sons because they weren't happy about what he had been saying on social media about Diddy. We know that he has been talking about people being after him, and he's been going on a lot of news programs giving his opinion about what has happened with Diddy, and allegedly some feel spilling secrets that are kind of, you know, putting his life in harm's way, if you believe the conspiracy theorists, right? So what I can also say is we know that Ray J is someone who likes attention and has a streaming network, a streaming platform that he is trying to push out there. And there are also, you know, questions about not only his mental health, but if there are some type of other substances being utilized. So let me say, full disclosure, I know Ray J, and I hope that he is okay, because we know Ray J courts attention and he crashes out. But some of this stuff seems a little different. I'm going to play you some of the video when he was on Pastor Jamal Bryant's podcast. Now, he threatened Jamal Bryant about putting out this podcast, this interview, because he said he was fearful of his life, and he took it back, and he said he didn't mean it and didn't mean to come at a man of God like that. If you ask me, part of me feels like Ray was really just promoting the podcast because he, as I said, he courts attention. But you be the judge. Let's check out what he had to say. And
you said that you really need to think through things because there was a moment in your own life that you thought about suicide. Tell me what was going on. Is that when you were on the roof in Mexico?
That was when I was on the roof. And that was no.
So I'm gonna pause it for a second. I don't know if you guys remember, like, I think it was maybe a year ago, Ray J got on social media. He was in Mexico. It was a beautiful backdrop, and he looked really down, and he had people really scared, really upset. And he came back later and said, nah, he was just wilding out and really tired from working. But here he's saying that he really was having thoughts of taking his own life. So let's get back into it.
I thought about suicide a lot, but that was when I attempted it. And I really didn't want to do it, but I really did want to do it. Because it's like when you have a bad dream and then you think it's real, it feels real.
Yeah.
And then you wake up, I be feeling like that life really happened. And so whatever dimension I popped into is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So I had a bad dream last night. So I'm here now with you. I think what happened last night in my mind happened. So if they having a funeral for me in the other dimension, they probably are.
No, you're going to live. You got years to go.
I'm living here.
Yes.
How do you know if every day you don't ever live forever?
Right.
You just keep skipping.
So we see what he's talking about. He's kind of rambling. I'm not sure, but I want to get to a latter part where he talked about him fearing billionaires might try to harm him, that they will kill him for the information that he is putting out there, that they are trying to keep his image clean. He also mentioned in regards to the Diddy case in another interview that there are people that are being contacted by victims, and lawyer Tony Busby put it out there, basically like, hey, if you don't want this information out there, pay me da-da-da-da, which is extortion and illegal. But, you know, are these people really victims? I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying, do they want justice, or are they people taking advantage of all the rumors in the situation and trying to scare someone? We know that there are many, many accusations of videos out there. No footage or stills or anything has leaked. There's been a lot of rumors about who's in those videos, but nothing concrete. And I feel like a lot of the people that are talking at this point might just be clout chasers. I should also mention that Ray J, along with Stevie J, along with I believe Tony Busby, and another lawyer named, I believe her name is Ariel, can't remember her last name, but she's spoken several times, are also featured on the TMZ 3-part documentary about this case, which is currently airing on Tubi. But let's get back a little bit into what Ray J is saying, because many feel that the reason why he is having a breakdown is because he knows information and he is concerned, and he is basically saying the same thing here. So let's get into it.
With the shit in the beginning, we're just hurting.
Yeah.
They did, because it's like, damn, man, like I cannot get away from it. So it's like, since I can't get away from it, why not just jump into it?
Yeah. It's the bravery of your truth, and truth sayers always.
Let's see.
Literally murder me. I'll be like, tomorrow you'll be like, National Syndicate and all this. They'll come kill me, bro. They'll kill me for this. Literally murder me. I'll be like, tomorrow you'll be like, yeah, Ray J overdosed from some fentanyl that he did. It's like, damn, Ray J was a drug addict. He died. That ain't really what happened.
Right.
They killed me.
I'm praying for your protection. Do you?
I need to be in the pastor protection program.
Nah, I got you. Yeah, I got you. I'm pulling out the ushers right now. I don't know if we're going to find it. You're too valuable to God and too valuable to your family.
We got to get it in the church.
Oh, no.
So here's the thing when you're talking about Ray J, right? Ray J is a funny guy. He is someone that is known to, at times, right, be sarcastic, be funny, be entertaining, again, to court attention, to get you to focus on whatever product, show, or whatever he might be promoting at the time. But some feel like, once again, he is being this vocal to protect himself, because, as he said, if something does happen to them, people are going to be like, well, wait a minute, and look into it. So, you know, Could be a little bit of both. This Diddy case obviously has a lot of people spinning and spinning and spinning, keep trying to drag Jay-Z into it. Dame has even gotten a little caught up in the drama and spectacle of that. A couple, maybe last month, he mentioned Jaguar rights interviews and why Jay-Z and Beyonce had not sent a cease and desist to Jaguar and things of that nature. He questioned why they hadn't come out and denied what is happening, even though they went to Piers Morgan to silence him. I've talked about my feelings on Jaguar in another video. We won't go into that here. I just think that at this point, this case is a circus, and we still have months to go. May, when we will start to see what actually is happening and the prosecution begins to roll out their case. All right, now something I wanted to get into that has been in conversation on social media quite a bit, I think, over the past week is about Bernice Burgos. If you're not sure who Bernice Burgos is, she is an Instagram model, influencer. She has her own pajama line. She used to do videos, and she also at one point in time was a bartender in New York in one of the gentlemen's clubs. I know we call them strip clubs, but gentlemen's clubs sounds so much classier. Don't you agree? So anyway, in an interview, she said that, and Bernice also used to date Drake. She used to date Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. And in an interview recently, she mentioned that there was one night where she made $30,000 in a night. And there's been a lot of debate back and forth whether that's possible, if she's putting extras on it. How does this happen? And I want to remind people that New York in the 2010s, early 2010s, was a different type of strip club environment than Atlanta or Miami or Houston or even someplace like Vegas, which is really different. At any rate, I think that was the height of the scammer movement, and I definitely think that it was possible. At that time, Bernice and I think the other girl's name is Gracie. She was on Wild 'N Out. They were like the attraction more so than the dancers in the place. So people were coming and spending money and competing. So I can believe that that is totally possible. Even I forgot to mention DC as far as because wasn't Stadium is in DC, right? So those were big targets for the scammers at the time. So they were giving it up. But I think this speaks to a larger thing about the battle, the conversation around women and money and the objectification of women using that to get money and what that means and what is a gold digger and are men being providers. And what it comes down to is, people don't like when an attractive woman, especially an attractive older woman, seems to be easily obtaining money without the work that goes with it. Now, I'm not saying that Bernice did anything extracurricular. Some people might allude to that they feel like that is the only way that it can happen. And I say with that type of stuff, you probably haven't been in that environment. Now, is it like that every night? Was she pulling that every week? No, but I could see on a particular night that going down and that happening. You just never know. At any rate, that's it for me tonight. I just wanted to jump on here quickly. By the way, if you are into Cross on Prime, Aldous Hodge, check out my interviews with him, his co-star Isaiah Mustafa, and creator Ben Watkins, along with some of the other cast. And there's more interviews coming on the channel. If you aren't already a subscriber, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Go back and watch the video. Leave me comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about any of the stories. And if there's something you want me to get into, let me know. Thanks for checking in.